Dying Light 2, I'm sure a lot of you out there are excited about, and I'm one of those people that's been really excited about this game as well. Not so much because I'm just excited for another zombie game, but I'm really excited about this sequel in particular because it's really something different, right? It's just a kind of different feel to this type of genre in the horror space, and being a role-playing action game, I think that Dying Light 2 is a game that a lot of us are really excited about in the industry. And so in this segment of the show, I want to talk about where is Dying Light 2 at this point. So we can kind of talk about it, and has this game been through a significant development hell? What might be going on with Dying Light 2? Because we've been seeing more and more, guys, the standard is becoming that your AAA games most likely are going to be delayed at some point or another in their development cycle. So let's talk about it. So guys, Dying Light 2, of course, is developed and it's published by Techland. The team intended to invoke a sense of loss and dread. They also show that humanity was on the edge of extinction. To show the fragility of humanity, the team introduced several layers to the city in which the temporary structures are built on top of the ruins of the old buildings to accommodate humans, whereas permanent structures and concrete ground are occupied by massive hordes of zombies. When creating the city, the team utilized an internal technology named City Builder, which can assemble different building parts like ledges and windows with minimal input from the level designers. The technology enabled the team to create and change the city design quickly. The team also created a new engine named C-Engine to power the game. So this is exciting. This, like, most of the things that I've heard related to Dying Light 2, of course, the announcement at E3 2018 really got me excited because when they started showing off a little bit of some of the gameplay, it looked pretty intense. Dying Light 2 was announced at E3 2018 during the Xbox press conference by Avalon. Square Enix will distribute the game and provide marketing efforts in North America. On July 25, 2019, Techland Chief Technology Officer Paul Rawletter confirmed in an interview with WCCF Tech that the game would be a cross-generation title. On January 20th, 2020, Techland announced that the game would be delayed out of its spring 2020 window to allow additional development time with no future release date given. And as of this point, guys, at the time of this recording, we still haven't seen Dying Light 2 as far as a release date's concerned. And I think this brings up an overall topic in the industry as to not even necessarily where's Dying Light 2, where are all of these other games that we are excited about, right? Where is Watch Dogs Legion? Where is Rainbow Six Quarantine? Where, obviously Dying Light 2, the main, title here that we're talking about. Where are these games at this point? Like, sure, we can say, until we're blue in the face that, look, they're still in development. They're trying to get through like certain phases and things of that nature. And that's fine fine and dandy. But don't give us a release date until you know when this thing is going to be done. Look, when we look at other industries, you look at the music industry or you look at the movie industry. Overall, guys, there are times where you see major motion pictures or major, music albums delayed. But usually there's a significant reason as the reasoning for those delays. I'll give you an example. With the coronavirus going on, Fast and Furious 9 or Fast 9 decided to postpone to the following year. And there has been a number of other movies, that also being like A Quiet Place 2. There's just been a lot of movies, right, that have said we're going to postpone because of the coronavirus. It's not because the movie isn't done yet or it's going through some kind of development hell. It has nothing to do with that. It's more that they are done, but there was just a world tragedy and an economic pandemic that went on that caused it, right? So it was something significant. With Dying Light 2, with The Last of Us 2, obviously that got delayed. You look at all these big AAA games are getting delayed. the thing about it is that it's not so much that they're being, that they need more time to be worked on. That's fine. I want it to be a finished product, right? We all want finished, really good looking product, right? And especially if we're paying $60 for that title, we want it to be, we want it to be finalized. We want to be able to just jump in and really experience the world and enjoy everything that entails the game, whether that's single player, multiplayer modes, co-op modes, a full package, right? But why is it that more and more games, it seems like the new normal, that we're seeing games that are being delayed because, they just need more time? That being like The Last of Us 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Dying Light 2, Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's becoming more and more common and just the new normal in the gaming industry. And I think what I would like to stress is that, look, why are you, the thing about it is why can't you just give us like a general idea of when the game's going to come out instead of giving us actual dates? And then once, if it ends up being, delayed or whatever the case might be, at least you're kind of generalizing it to, look, this game is, let's just say, for example, Dying Light 2. It's going to come out in 2021. Tell us it's going to come out in 2021, and then at a later date when like, okay, this game is almost finished already, we can release it on, say, February 20th of, 2021. That way we know, obviously, okay, this is when, it's going to be coming out, but don't delay it, or, if there's any even real thought that the game's going to be delayed, why are are you even telling us in the first place that of the initial release date? Because I think what it's starting to do now is it's starting to, a lot of the consumers, it's starting to lose our confidence in just AAA games in general as far as like when it's going to come out. The other thing is I think it's also not a good thing for a lot of these games because, when you're told that it's going to come out one day and then it gets delayed, a lot of times you might forget about it, unless it's a big AAA title. I'm talking about some of the smaller titles because this is a ripple effect. Starts with those AAA games and it could go all the way down to, some of those smaller games as well, where you start seeing delays and things of that nature, and then people start forgetting about those games because there's a lot of other games, a lot of competition out there. So I just think overall, it's bad for everybody. Now, getting back to Dying Light, guys, this is a game, when we're talking about the first game, in the first week after it's released, 1.2 million people played Dying Light. The retail version of Dying Light debuted in #1 in the US software sales chart, outselling heavy competitors such as GTA 5 and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Dying Light has the highest selling first month of sales for a new survival horror intellectual property, breaking the record previously held by The Evil Within. The game also debuted in #1 in the UK software retail chart for 2 weeks, outperforming other major releases in February, such as The Order 1886 and Evolve. Despite the game was released a month early in digital format, in its first 45 days after its release, 3.2 million people played Dying Light, making it the most popular game the developer Techland ever developed. On May 19, 2015, Techland announced 4.5 million players have played the game as of June 2015. In May of 2015, it was announced the development of another Techland video game, Hellraid, had been put on hold so as to allow the studio to allocate resources and time to concentrate on the development of the Dying Light franchise. And then on August 13, 2015, Techland announced that the game had sold 5 million units, guys. So for a horror game, #1, brand new franchise, sells 5 million units in 2015. Right? And so obviously it's 2020 now, right? So it's sold even more units than that. It's because it was different. And so that's what we're all excited about with Dying Light 2. But where is the game right now? We were told, it was going to be coming out, and it hasn't, obviously hasn't come out yet. and at the time of this recording, we don't know, they haven't even announced what, a new date for it. But that's the same with a bunch of these other games. Now, there could be a number of reasons why we haven't heard word. Number one could be because of the coronavirus outbreak. Number two, could be that they just don't know. They want to be more assured, like, of when, they're going to be able to have a finalized date. Now, some of these games may actually just release, in 2020, but I have a feeling when I look at games like Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine, you even look at Dying Light 2, some of these games might even push into 2021. I think there's a possibility to that, and that's really just almost devastating. It's like you're so excited about some of these franchises, especially if Dying Light, if you are a massive fan of this franchise, like it's your favorite game or one of your favorite games, it's really just devastating when you're told, like, you gotta wait longer to, you gotta wait a lot longer to play the sequel. That's just so, disheartening. And unfortunately, guys, we just don't really have a timetable here. There's nothing that's telling us whether it's on Dying Light's, Twitter accounts, whether it's, wherever it is on social media. They really haven't given us any idea as to when Dying Light 2 is going to come out. Now, what I do like is that they're taking their time as far as when they're going to give us another date, because the last thing that we want is to get a second date and then they end up delaying it again. So take your time, obviously, at this point. But I really want the entire industry moving forward. Can we please get to a point where you give us a date and it sticks to that date, right? You don't see, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of these, amazing movies, they stick to those dates. They have deadlines. They get those things done when they need to be done. And these are massive movies, obviously, guys. I mean, we can all, talk about, the Avengers and all these other movies that are coming out. They have specific dates that they come out, and they have a slate of, movies that are coming out, for the next couple of years, and they have dates for those. And so it's really important that, I think, in the gaming industry, we kind of take a page out of the book from motion pictures, because motion pictures have been around a lot longer than video games. So let's kind of take a few things, learn something, and moving forward, especially the AAA titles, when there is a finalized release date, unless there is a massive pandemic like what's going on with the coronavirus or something of that nature, then I think really, just moving forward, guys, it's got to be that those games come out when they have that initial release date stated by the developers. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Dying Light 2, where you guys think it is at this point. Do you think that we are in the midst of a development hell within that of the Dying Light 2 game, and with Techland and such? I mean, is this something that we should be concerned about, that there's a development hell issue? And the same can be said, I've said this about other games as well, even like Watch Dogs Legion and Rainbow Six Quarantine, even Cyberpunk 2077. These games look incredible, but at the same time, are they going through some type of development hell? It's hard to say. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. And for more content based around Dying Light 2, stay right here with Zero TV.